Good morning. I am off to the office and I got some errands to take care of, but I had an interesting thought. So, as always, I like to kind of start with the origination. I don't know why I said that so weird. The origination of the thought, which today was I was looking for my cat before I, head out. I'm putting my shoes on and I crack open the basement door thinking maybe he's lurking down there looking for mice or something. And the door, I only opened it about halfway because he usually is sitting towards the top of the stairs surveying his basement kingdom and listening and watching for little mice running around. But I thought, well, maybe he's behind the door, and I opened the door further. But he wasn't behind it. But I had the thought, he very well could have been behind the door where I couldn't see him, right? And I would have been blind to that, and I would have just assumed, oh, well, I guess I'm right or wrong here. He isn't in the basement, or he must be somewhere else, depending on how the thought was formed. But I had the thought of, well, my perspective isn't entirely clear. I need to open the door all the way, right? And then you open the door all the way and you get a better view. But really, if I wanted to know if he was really down there, I would have gone all the way down the stairs and I would have looked for him, right? And I realized, that's not really, truthfully, all that different from the way we view a lot of things informationally and opinion-wise. A lot of times, we tend to, we have this very sort of, how would you say, narrow view of things, and that's our opinion, and these are our opinions, like, environmentally, we need to, the environment is the biggest thing we need to be focused on, right? I just use something that's politically charged, of course. That's the biggest and only thing we should be focusing on, and that's where we should be putting all of our tax dollars and government money towards correcting this one thing. But then, maybe we get a little curious and we can adjust our perspective, or we're a little open-minded. We can open that viewway, that door in this case, a little bit more, and we can start to look and we can see the entire idea, the entire concept more fully. And then we get a little bit more curious yet. And from there, then we realize, maybe I should wade into this a little bit more. And then, we pass through the doorway and we look at even more information. And then we have the complete view. So when we're looking at any sort of idea, concept, or anything where we are forming an opinion, instead of just assuming that we have, quote unquote, the right opinion, because that's an unfortunate thing about opinions. There, what makes one right or wrong, right? Obviously there are some things that are absolute fact, but there are a lot of things that are not. They're open to interpretation, and that's the unfortunate realm of opinion. So instead of us having this potentially misguided belief that our opinion is correct, and that everything that is outside of that tiny viewway, that tiny crack in the door that we're peering through, everything else that we cannot see is, non-existent or wrong, we should try, at the very least, to open that door just a little bit more and get a little bit more view of things before we decide to form our opinions. At least before we allow our opinions to become truly ossified, because then we put ourselves into a real conundrum. When we become so, well, as I put it, ossified in our opinions, then we pretty much have closed that door. We're not open to discuss anything. We're not open to think, because at that point, you're not thinking at all. You have a train of thought, and you essentially have this, quote unquote, sort of pocket card that has all of your quote unquote talking points and ideas, right? It's an ossified opinion. The door is completely closed. And we shouldn't be like that with most things. There are some things like our core beliefs where perhaps we should vociferously defend those, like our religious beliefs. We absolutely need to defend those. But on the whole, I do believe that we should not allow ourselves to be blind and allow ourselves to close our doors or the doors on these opinions, ideas, concepts, and so on.